Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. We're heading home after an adventure in Nullsec and a bit of a wormhole adventure as well, where we tried to achieve 100 million ISK on a brand new character. It went pretty quickly. I mean, it could have gone quicker as well if I had even better luck on my side, but it could have also gone slower if I had worse luck. So I'm glad that we got over 100 million ISK. We've got quite a bit more ISK because we went in a wormhole in the end to find our way home, and in that wormhole we found additional relic and data sites, so we were able to get over 100 million ISK. We got like 110, 120 I think. And that's really great small ISK for a relatively new character. I mean, considering we've got basically no skills, it's a lot of ISK. The ship here, this Heron, has been through a lot, and he's going to make our way home to Jita. And the reason we go back to Jita is because this is where we get the best prices. We can sell the best prices for our loot here. Something I would want to mention is that since we went in through a wormhole that went to low sec, so we ended up in the middle of nowhere in high sec to get our way back, we have to go through so many systems, and you'll often have to go through quite a few systems to get to Jita, unless you somehow get a system that just is outside Jita. And something that is very important to do when you're making these kinds of journeys, it could be any journey through high sec, but you are now carrying a significant amount of ISK in your cargo hold in a very flimsy ship. We've got over 100 million worth of ISK because these blueprints are worth quite a bit of ISK. It says only 63 million there, but you have to understand that we are using a very flimsy ship, 3k EHP, and I got a lot of ISK. What does this mean? It means that there are people who would probably want to gank us. So even though we're in high sec, there is still a possibility that people can destroy us. It's just that if they attack us, then the Concord police will destroy them within a certain amount of time. What people will do is then, if they see that they'll use a cargo scanner on us, they can see that we've got a lot of loot in our cargo hold. Then they'll think, okay, grab a few friends, let's wait outside the next gate in the next system, and then they'll try to attack me and kill me before the Concord police are able to kill them. Then they'll get another friend come in with like a hauling ship or just grab the loot and get out of there, and that's how they can do it without getting destroyed by the Concord police, or like the hauler won't get destroyed by the Concord police. So they'll be able to steal all our loot, and they'll get destroyed in their ships, but they'll sacrifice some cheap ships to be able to get our valuable cargo. And it's not a lot of ships, or not very expensive ships at all, that they'll need to use to take me out, because this ship is so flimsy. So the point I'm trying to make is that be a bit wary when you're going here through high sec. And the number one tip I would say to not get ganked is do not use autopilot. It can seem tempting to use autopilot when we've got these really long journeys, but don't use it. Instead, go directly from gate to gate and jump, like just use jump here, because then you're going to warp at 0. The reason is because autopilot warps you within, I think, 15 kilometers of the gate, and I think it's a way just to make sure that autopilot is not used all the time. And if you're then using like you're manually jumping, then you're going to be like instantly pretty much getting from the next gate to the next gate, and you can't have any bubbles or anything like that we were worrying about in nullsec and high sec, so we don't have to worry about that here. So you're relatively safe if you just go around and just jump manually by clicking. It's going to be annoying to have to be here at your computer, these whole 50 jumps, but I would say it's definitely worth it, because it will be very unfortunate that you've spent all this time grinding that ISK and then you just get popped here at the very end when you actually are in a pretty safe spot here in high sec. But it's just that you have to be wary of gankers. And it's also good to see if, like in low sec, like, do you see a lot of criminals, then you can get like an extra feeling for if there are going to be a lot of gankers there. The kind of systems you need to watch out for are these yellow systems, because yellow systems, they have a longer time until the Concord police respond. So they're just generally speaking going to have more gankers there, because gankers who gank various types of ships, they're going to have a higher likelihood of destroying their target in these kind of systems, because they'll have more time to do damage before they get popped by the Concord police. So these kind of yellow systems, and like light green, the 0.6 to 0.5, they tend to be high risk. So just be extra cautious when you go through these systems, but there is not much you can do about it. Just jump through them as quick as you can. Try to not sit around at a gate or anything like that, and don't use autopilot. Especially don't use autopilot in these systems, because like we are an ideal gank target, since we can, like, the type of ships people want to destroy are easy to kill ships with high amount of cargo to be had. If you're in, like, say, a battleship, a very expensive ship, it could be an expensive ship, but it can also be very hard to destroy, so then unlikely people will destroy it. If you're in a cheap battleship, very hard to destroy, very low value, not carrying anything of value, that's just pretty much impossible. You're going to get ganked. So just remember that. It's like a balance between how strong a ship is and what kind of cargo you've got. You can see here that where 36 jumps out, it takes quite a bit of time, but we'll get there eventually. You just have to be a bit patient. Something you could do if you want, if you're bored on the way here, to still earn some extra ISK, is to do this product discovery I was discussing before. This can help earn a bit of extra ISK, and it's not going to at all make you come to your destination slower. It's like you just do it in the background, really. The ways we will sell the blueprints are on contracts. It's a way to sort of auction items that are not really able to be sold directly on the market just because they have no, like, set value. I'm not exactly sure why it works, but I think it has to do with that these items can't directly be sold because there's lots of variations of the same item. Because, like, this one here, for example, it has like 120 runs, 60 runs. You can't all sell it to the same buyer on the market. So I think they just made it so that they just sell it manually via, like, this auction style selling here. So, you know, get 60 runs, 60 runs, 60 runs, 60 runs, only 120 runs. No, 120 runs, because we've got 120 runs. Oh, there's one there, 20 million, 15 million. Integrated Hobgoblin. 5 runs. This is 60 runs. We've got a lot of runs on this. 10 million. Oh, someone's selling a ton of these, actually. For 9 million. It's maybe going to be hard to sell this. This will be all easy to sell, though. We're soon there. 12 jumps out. We're in Minmatar space now. Minmatar space is the adjacent kind of, you could say, faction to the Kaldari. It used to actually be that you would have a lot of Amarian space very close, but since the Triglavian invasion, a few systems were cut off, making the Amarians actually being one of the furthest systems away from the Kaldari. We're soon there. We're in Genesis, which is sort of an intermediate kind of area owned by Concords of the police. It's not really owned by any faction. And then we're going to get to Kaldari Border Zone, so soon there. 10 jumps out. It's a very long journey, as you can see. If I were to put the show timestamps, you can see since 12:52 we've been doing this, so half an hour I've been just jumping and jumping and jumping. So it's definitely a long journey, but it'll be worth it. It's a lot safer than if we were to just directly go from Nullsec back, because that'll first of all be very long, because Nullsec is very far out. Then also it's very dangerous because there's a high risk of having gankers, having gate campers, people having bubbles in the gates. We don't want to take those risks when we're carrying this much cargo that's worth so much. Okay, now we're 1 jump out from Jita. Soon there. It's been almost 40 minutes of pure jumping. We finally got to our destination. This is also where we want to be a little bit careful. Just make sure we don't get ganked. And one thing to just keep in mind is that when we're going to get to the station, if we warp at 0, we might be entering the gate. We might warp into the station at a slight distance. So if we do warp at a slight distance, even if we say warp at 0, it sometimes warps us at a slight distance. We need to quickly go and dock up at the station. So we'll go here, and then we'll see that we're going to have the Jita Trade Hub here. Jita Trade Hub, dock there. Jita 44, Jita Trade Hub, that's the one we want to go to. So I warped at 0, but we have to be very close to be able to dock, so we just want to be quick, because there can be gankers outside the station who want to take us out, because since so much trade occurs in Jita, there's a lot of people, a lot of targets, a lot of people to choose from who could potentially be carrying very valuable goods. So that's why you do have sometimes gankers. We can see if we can even spot some here. These tornadoes here, very likely that these are gankers. Okay, see here we're at a slight distance docking. Just try dock straight away. I just double clicked in space so I get as close as possible and just dock all the time. Yep, we're docked up now. We're safe. Okay, great. So now it is time for the good stuff. Time to sell all our valuable loot. We'll see how much upfront ISK we'll get from the raw loot, or like the loot that can be sold directly. And then we'll focus on the blueprints later. See how much we get here. 60, come on, 60, 61. Oh, so it's actually good. Because usually the estimated price, you almost always have to sell it for less due to the fact that there's tax. So you can see sales tax, 55 million. So it's actually a really good amount of ISK we get when you take into consideration the sales tax, which is actually quite high, 8%. You can actually reduce that if you train a lot of trade skills and get good standings with Kaldari. Okay, so we've sold that now. 62 million ISK. Okay, so what we're going to do here is take our blueprints. We're going to start with the more expensive blueprints. We'll see what they're going for. So in Amar, in cheapest in Jita is 26 million. I think if we sell this for 25, we should be able to get a decent deal on this. 25. Actually, we'll do that. 24,99999 like this. And we'll sell this. Wait, we'll just go previous. We'll have the expiration maybe a week just in case, or maybe 3 days. Don't want it to go on for too long. Okay, there we go. So sales tax actually for the contracts is a lot less. Okay, we'll sell this, create another contract here, public. Oh, and we've also got the maximum number of contracts, so we're going to have to wait a little bit of time. We can actually train more skills by training contracting skills. If we go into the trade tab, contracting, it allows us to get more contracts. The thing is, when you're an alpha clone, you've got very limited skills, so you can't do a whole lot of trading here. But you'll have to then wait until this blueprint has been sold, and then you'll get your ISK and then just wait and wait and wait. Or you can also just like sell them all in bulk and maybe advertise them here in the local chat. Then you can also get them to be sold quicker. So this is unfortunately going to take a bit of time, especially since we're not able to have so many contracts up straight away. But if you were an Omega clone, you could train this contracting skill, and you would probably be able to just get them all sold in one sweep. And we can, to get it sold quicker, we can always try advertise them in local like this. If we go into contracts, my contracts, drag this here and type and give it a name. So now maybe 25 mil like this, just 25 mil, and you can just drag this here to advertise it more in the local chat. And maybe you don't have to spam this so many times, but I just wanted to demonstrate that you can just drag these into the local chat. That's how you can advertise your contracts. So wait until that is done, and you'll get your ISK. But it's great to see that we've already got 62 million ISK straight off the bat, and we'll definitely get more later. So until then, I'll say we've completed the goal. We've got all this loot. We'll just have to wait on the blueprints to be sold, but it's just a waiting game. We can do other things in the meantime, but great to see that we were able to get 100 million ISK in this go on the Heron. It was a lot more successful than last time where we got popped so hard. Here it was actually a really smooth ride, or at least a lot smoother ride. We did have some encounters with pirates, but I'm glad we managed to complete the goal, and we even scored a little bit higher than 100 million as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.